she is voted by more people than the president. And meron din siyang cadre of bloggers and supporters na pwedeng kalkalin ang buhay ninyo mga congressman. Kinakalkal na nga yung buhay ng mga quadcom eh. So ano pong
Aba,
expect
dapat
po dito
lang.
kasi you're basically treading on a landmine here kasi the vice president has so many supporters.
Trabaho lang po, walang personalan.
What's up mga kababayan, News That Matters here. Dito sa video natin ngayon ay ating panonoorin itong nangyaring press conference ng mga young goons ni Tambalons mga kababayan. Grabe talaga mga kababayan, hindi tatantanan no ang VP Sara pagdating sa usapin ng OVP budget kahit na siya na ang nagwika na ginawa niya na ang lahat para maipasa to. Ngunit sadyang pamamahiya at pamumulitika lamang ang inabot nito sa mga aso nga ni Tambalos. Nahalatang pinagmumukha na lang siyang desperada no upang maging usapin sa national news. Grabe naman talaga. Pero silang ang makakasiguro na hindi luluhod ang isang vice presidente sa mga kamukha niyong underdogs ni Tambalos. Pero bagong lahat mga kababayan, huwag niyo po sana kalimutan mag-like at subscribe para updated ka sa mga uploads ko araw-araw. At yun na nga no mga kababayan, samahan niyo kong pakinggan tong mga kabalbalan na winiwika ng mga pulpul na kongresong ito. Na ang sarap na sana nilulugar nyo naman ang inyong posisyon at kayang respetuhin ang pasya ng isang vice presidente. Na oo, may karapatan kayo na tanungin kung nasaan siya pero wag nyo naman sana balakin na nagbabakasyon ito dahil walang katotohanan yun. Na mukhang di kayo updated kung nasaan siya ngayon dahil puro talak at pasikat lamang kayo na ang mindset nyo sirain nga ang imahe o figura ng isang Sara Duterte. Kung kaya naman hindi ko na patatagalin pa mga kababayan, heto na ang buong video.
Ano yun trabaho yun, responsibility. Kaya nga ako, iniisip ko, kung hindi kaya resign siya ng DepEd, tapos ito rin mangyari sa budget ng DepEd, ano kaya nangyari sa mahigit na, ilang kayang teachers ang umaasa sa DepEd na empleyado natin? Thousands yun, di ba? So, I mean, tayo lahat elected. Kami mga halal, kami pinagkatiwalaan para maglingkod. May trabaho kaming dapat gampanan. Bahagi ng trabaho to Bahagi ng responsibilidad to. So bahagi talaga to na as head of agency, as head of department, you have to go through the process. And this is just bigger. This is not even about her. This is about the office of the vice president, the second highest position of the land. And you have to put respect and due courtesy to that office, and to simply show up and do your work. I think it's the least that she can do for the office of the vice president.
Thank you. Big Sumintak from Net25. Please proceed with your questions.
Magandang umaga po. Ang sabi nyo nga sa ngalan ng kortesiya, leniency, ibibigay nyo lahat sa Office of the Vice President. Naghintay kayo kahapon, maghihintay kayo ngayon, bukas, siguro hanggat magpakailanman. So, ang sabi nga ni Congressman Kung Hon, kaya sabi ko, hiramin ko si Tita Mili. First time na nangyari ito. So my question is, dahil ito ay magiging first time, at kung hindi talaga siya dumating, magkakaroon ba kayo ng clear policy ngayon sa budget deliberation ng isang head ng agency na hindi darating para malinaw kung anong gagawin ng Kongreso?
Well, definitely hindi kami mag-aantay ng magpakailanman. Kasi kailangan maipasa yung budget by Wednesday. At hindi ito mapipigilan ng opisina ng Vice President na maipasa ng Kongreso ang budget come Wednesday. Yun nga lang, katulad nga ng sinabi natin kanina, first time nangyari ito, at kailangan din magdesisyon ang mayorya or ang mga miyembro ng Kamara kung ano ang gagawin dito. Dahil yun nga, first time na nangyari ito, at kailangan mag-usap-usap ang miyembro ng Kongreso kung paano i-approach. Hindi namin masasagot ng kami lang to dahil syempre, ito usapin na kailangan desisyonan ng buong Kamara de Representante.
Alam mo, she can come here. She's been here twice. She went here during the budget briefing in the committee level. She went here last week when we had the first hearing on good government. So she has time to go to the beach. She should have time to come here.
Pag madami ng absent sa classroom, may drop na. Parang ganun ba yan?
Ito po, yung practical approach lang po nung kung bakit importante na andito po yung head of the agency. Because we cannot expect the budget sponsor to answer everything on behalf of the department or agency. Kahit ako po, I defended several agencies. May mga katanungan po ako that I requested for a minute of suspension because I have to consult the secretary or the head of the agency. So, yun lang po yung kasi yung practical approach kung bakit kailangan po nandito yung ating pong head of the agency or even officials from a particular department or agency para tulungan po yung budget sponsor na nagdedepensa po ng kanilang budget. So, yun ang mawawala ngayon kasi we're talking about first time. And magiging ano po ito it will set as a bad precedent. Kasi baka gayahin din po ng mga ibang departamento o ahensya ng gobyerno, pwede naman pala hindi sumipot dyan sa plenary debates Padala na lang kami ng representative o kung sinong high-ranking official ng sinasabing agency. That is why it's very important that wag natin baliin ito pong naging tradisyon na dito po sa Kongreso.
Tanungin ko kayong mga nasa House of Crops, ilang beses na bang umattend si VP Sara at ilang beses na rin siyang napolitika dyan? Sa tingin nyo, may gana pa siyang makipagplastikan sa inyo? Kita nga ang pamumulitika na ginagawa ninyo. Yung request nyo, pinagmumukha nyo na lang desperada ang Vice Presidente. Nakulang na lang, gusto nyong lumuhod siya para maibigay ang pondo na dapat sa OVP. At sinasabi ko sa inyo na hindi mangyayari yun.
That all government or all heads of the government agencies must appear before the plenary. Ginawa po natin yan doon sa Committee on Appropriations budget hearing. Diba po, nung time, I defended the budget of the DMW. Nung time po na yon, nandun po si Secretary Kakdak sa Senate kasi nakasalang po siya sa Commission on Appointments. So what did the Committee on APRO did is that ini-reschedule namin, kinancel namin yung budget hearing because members of Congress want the Secretary to present the budget before the members of the House of Representatives. Same thing in plenary discussion. Babalik po lahat ng heads of the agencies to aid, to help the budget sponsor in defending their respective budgets. So, yun po yung practical application kung bakit kailangan at importante na yung head of the agency ay nandito po sa plenaryo.
In addition lang, the congressman defends the budget, pero we are not the disbursing officer. Hindi naman kami yung tagagastos ng budget. We justify the budget, we defend the budget, but hindi kami yung tagagastos, no? So, kailangan mismo kung sino yung gumagastos ng budget, dapat sila yung naandito para sabihin kung paano nila ginagastos yung budget ng ahensya. At yun yung nakakalungkot, no? At yun yung nakakaawa sa sitwasyon ni Kong Sia. Maraming katanungan ng mga miyembro ng Kongreso na siguradong hindi niya masasagot pag wala rito yung mga opisyalis ng OVP. Dahil sila yung nag-disburse, sila yung gumastos, sila yung gumamit ng pera. At sila pa rin yung gagamit ng pera nitong 2025. So, kailangan nandito sila para ipaliwanag kung paano at saan nila gagamitin yung budget na ipinagkakatiwala sa kanila ng mamamayan.
Just to add lang po siguro, I think we're all in agreement here that we will not shift our rules for accommodating incidents such as this. On the part of the minority naman po, there might be a confusion that we might be happy if there is no one to help the budget sponsor to defend it. We can say whatever you want. But that's far from the truth. Di rin naman yun yung gusto namin. What we're here for in the budget is to find answers, to seek answers, to clarify, to explain bakit po ganito yung budget. when you don't have a resource person around to aid the budget sponsor, not so much as to defend, but to, to put substance into the budget, it becomes a lost cause. So, and I think regarding the rules, this is the first time lang po siguro, and hopefully it is the last. This would be the first time that an official has failed to reach the bare minimum of decency to at least appear po, no? Or at least send a representative. But we're still hopeful that this would not be repeated. And we're still hopeful that the bare minimum of attendance would be, continued by other members. So I don't think we will have to change our rules for this po.
Thank you. The next question.
May follow-up lang.
Oh, Ryan, go ahead, Vic.
Just
Sorry.
one follow-up na lang po. Based on your explanation nga po na hindi nyo babaliin yung rules ng plenary regarding budget deliberation. So, is it possible na kung talagang hindi siya darating as a matter of parliamentary procedure, may miyembro na tatayo na lang mag-move to adopt the recommendation of the Appropriations Committee?
Again, I guess we will cross the bridge when we get there. Kasi like for today, we're still waiting for the officials from the Office of the Vice President to appear. So malay nyo magkaroon po ng himala. Mamayang hapon dumating. Di at least hindi mangyayari yung nabanggit po ninyo, sir, no? So but then again, it's up to the members of the plenary. Hindi naman natin control kung ano pong decision po, lalong-lalo na sa members of the minority, wherein ang dami po nilang questions dun po sa budget ng OVP. So, let's wait and see kung ano po yung magiging takbo nitong diskusyon sa budget po ng OVP.
Thank you, Vic. The next question comes from Lenesca Panti of GMA Online.
Ay, good morning po, Lenesca. And sir, good morning po. Given the absence of the Vice President as of the moment, would you say that the House Appropriations Panel's recommended 733 million budget for OVP is a justified one and the 2 billion is unjustified? That's my question po.
You can't answer that question whether justified or not because we haven't even tackled it on the floor. And the reason why we can't tackle it on the floor is because she's absent. She's not here. You know what? Anything can happen during plenary debates. It has happened many times. May iba nagre-recommend ng dagdag budget, dagdagan. Kung nakikita naman nila na maganda at maayos, di ba? May pa nga nagre-recommend na kung pwede, doblehin pa. So sa akin, di ba, until such time that she is here, then we will know and find out from the members of Congress what our position is with regards to the recommendations on the Committee on Appropriations.
Thank you. Are you done with your question, Lenesca? Okay. Next question from Red Mendoza of Manila Times.
Hi po, good morning po. First question po. Kong Jill, yung sinabi niyo po na you're not necessarily pushing, pero you're necessarily parang pushing na rin for the Vice President to resign. Of course, she's voted by 32 million people. She's voted by more people than the President. And meron din siyang cadre of bloggers and supporters na pwedeng kalkalin ang buhay ninyo mga congressman. Kinakalkal na nga yung buhay ng mga quadcom eh. So ano po
Aba, dapat
dito?
lang.
Kasi you're basically
Aba, dapat lang. Anong gusto nilang gawin? Hindi ma-lifestyle check? Baka mamaya kamukha nila Kimbo, Abante, Congresswoman ng Abra, magnanakaw din ang mga yan. Na ang lakas nyo mang Alaska, kay VP Sara na sabihin magnanakaw ito, tapos kayo pa lang tunay na magnanakaw, yari talaga kayo.
treading on a landmine here. Kasi the Vice President has so many supporters.
Trabaho lang po, walang personalan.
Next question na lang po and my last question. Sinabi po ng isang columnist namin, si Manu Tequia, na you're being compared to an mafia. You're being
Trabaho lang po, walang personalan. Good luck na lang sa'yo, boy. Kung ako sa'yo, mag-private account ka na, kamukha nila Kimbo.
Compared to a mafia code of honor, yung rules and yung mga pag-open ng budget, presentation and all, and I quote her, "Omerta, the mafia's code of honor is embraced by the very institution elected by the voters to stand for their interests. And the rules are bent to suit their ends. Truly, he who has gold rules is the only rule honored in this chamber." What's your comment on that po, na parang you're acting like daw po a mafia?
She's entitled to her own opinion. Bahala siya.
As Kong Jill said, we're just working with the rules here. We're nagtatrabaho lang po kami. I appreciate the questions, Red, no, but they seem to be politically.
Natatakot ata ma-lifestyle check nang sinabing kinakalkal ang mga personal information ng mga bumabangga kay VP Sara. Ayusin nyo ha, galingan nyo pa.
Charged. So I think we'll just leave our work to speak for itself po siguro.
Ako, nabanggit mo yung 32 million, siguro ang isang opinion ko na lang doon, respetuhin niya yung nagtiwala sa kanya para may luklok siya sa pwesto at gampanan niya yung trabaho bilang vice-presidente.
Thank you.
And with regards to the landmine that you mentioned, yeah, it's been happening for the past 8 months, so it's nothing new.
Thank you. Kenneth Basilio from Business World.
Hello, magandang umaga po. So help us understand na lang po, no? State economic managers said they formulated the national budget with the Philippine Development Plan 2023-2028 in mind. So just to contextualize, the PDP places focus on promoting human social development, agriculture modernization, and domestic industry revitalization, among others. A review of the proposed budget shows that allocations to the agriculture, health, and social welfare departments were slashed, with the MSME Development Fund only at 2.3 billion. This is to support the 1.1 million micro, small, and medium enterprises that we have right now po. And the agriculture budget allocations stagnated po kasi when compared to the total economy po. Why does it seem na parang may disconnect between the Philippine Development Plan and the formulated proposed national budget po? And what could Congress do to ensure the budget adheres to the said plan po?
Well, definitely, the budget is there to support the objectives and goals of the Marcos administration. With regards to appropriation of funds, ang dami kasing factors ang dapat natin i-consider, such as utilization, efficiency, such as continuing funds that have to be put into consideration. So, but given the performance of the Marcos administration to date in addressing inflation, we've been very good. Inflation numbers are going down. When it comes to improving the lives of Filipinos, I think Filipinos are more positive with regards to their output when it comes to their state and their state of life. Kung titignan po natin yung continuous social amelioration programs na ini-implement across the nation, that is unprecedented. It has never been done, and it's only being done by the Marcos administration. So with respect to the goals of the Philippines under the Philippine Development Plan, I think we are still very much on track with regards to the budget and the finances and the funds that are required to meet those goals with regards to agriculture, infrastructure, and social development.
Yun din, to add lang. Alam naman po natin, usually, pag nasa ground ka, sinasabi nila yung Philippine Development Plan is napakagandang wish list. Sinasabi nila yan eh. Pero I beg to differ na alam natin na inaaral po yan bago naman po hinahain ng NEDA yan eh, na pag-aralan po maigi yung mga plano saka mga pangangailangan po ng national and local governments. Pero ang realistic side po niyan, hindi naman po lahat kasi talaga mapopondohan. Saka medyo kukulangin pa rin tayo sa pondo. Pero what this institution is doing dito po sa House of Representatives, on our part,
Paanong kukulang
yun nga,
ninanakaw
sabi ni
ninyo?
DSJJ, tinitignan din natin kung paano po ginagastos yung mga nakaraang budget, yung burn rate, yung utilization rate. Kung yung mga specific agencies po, yung mga departments po na iba, hindi maganda po yung paggamit ng pondo. Kunwari, meron pong utilization rate na 3% lang. Bakit ganun po? So, siguro, hindi po karapat-dapat na mabigyan pa ng prioritization yung mga sectors na yun. So, it's really a tight balancing act. Pero syempre, wala naman pong sino mang leader o sino mang head ng ahensya na hindi po gustong mapondohan lahat ng priority na programs niya.
Just in addition lang po siguro in relation to the question, I think the government is still committed to following these development goals, if ever. But just for consideration po, no, it's not as simple as just looking at the budget in which departments were slashed. As mentioned by Congressman Ortega, definitely one thing that we look at is utilization rate. As much as we want to prioritize certain departments, when their utilization rate doesn't justify it, we can't give them the whole amount. But in addition to that, we also have to consider that some of the development goals, for example, if we're talking about agriculture, if we're talking about social amelioration, they don't necessarily fall. For example, pag agriculture, lahat ng programa nun nasa DA lamang. Or if we're talking about social amelioration, lahat yan nasa DSWD. We actually have a lot of interrelated projects. So while you may see a slash in a certain department, sometimes they're boosted by programs which fall under other departments. For example, we're talking about agriculture, in DPWH, the component in flood control now also include water catchment. So that actually comes into irrigation. So you might see a decrease in the DA, but with the increase in DPWH, interrelated pa naman po siya. And I understand there are other programs and projects that relate to convergence. So talagang there's an interplay between departments. And we leave it to the executive to propose to us through the DBM, which they feel, according to the economic managers, would be most helpful to our economy. So I think that's something lang that we should consider when looking at, it's not as simple as look at which departments are slashed. We have to consider the whole of government approach in relation to the programs and projects na pinopropose po nila.
Mag-add lang ako